Galamera. Good morning, and how are we all today? Well, as you can see today, it is another lovely looking day. It's still a bit cold, I've got to be honest. It's a bit chilly. There is a wind blowing. You can probably, not too much at the moment now on this side of the house, but you could see the tops of the trees blowing around and that. But anyway, nice clear blue skies actually. I was looking back at yesterday's podcast online, and I was amazed at how good the skies looked, how blue and radiant they looked on my laptop. So anyway, hopefully you're seeing the same at the moment, but beautiful clear blue skies at the moment. Just a wisp of cloud, so hopefully no rain or anything like that. Although we are still being forecast for very cold weather. It's weird, isn't it? 1 minute they're saying, oh, it's the hottest Greece has been for the last 50 odd years, and the next minute they're saying, oh, it is also cold as well. But yep, if you may notice, the grass has been cut at the moment. Old Yanni was out yesterday with his strimmer, trimming all the grass back, which making the place look lovely as always. And there you go. That is a look at everything at the moment here in lovely Zakynthos. The sun shining through the back there. Again, as always, you stand in the sun, it's lovely and warm, but there is a little bit of a cold breeze blowing about at the moment. And yeah, you can see the trees are moving a bit there. So more wind on this side of the house than there is on the other side of the house. But anyway, there you go. Right, let's have a look at what's going on online. There's Yanni there, running away and going upstairs to the veranda. And you'll notice it's been that windy that our welcome mat has blown backwards, okay? That's how windy it was last night. And that's a heavy old mat as well. Right, Emma Mark, who's tuning in at the moment. Lovely to see you, Emma. Hope things are good where you are. In Essex, I don't know how cold it is there at the moment, or if it's wet or whatever. But let's give you the news in the last 24 hours here in beautiful Zakynthos. Right, hang on a minute, come on, mouse, work mouse, there we go, mouse is now working. Right, okay, the date today is the 14th of January, it's a Thursday. I can't believe this week again is just shooting by so quickly. We are now day 69 of the lockdown. Dun, dun, dun. Wait till day 70. Yeah. Anyway, the COVID in the last 24 hours. Interesting figures in the last 24 hours. We've had 671 new infections across the country, which is down from the day before where we had 866. So that's a positive. 17 of those new infections were identified at entries into the country, which is, I'm afraid, up from yesterday's 12. All right. But if you remember, we'd had 3 days of 12 all the way through, which was quite interesting. Anyway, at the moment, the total amount of infections across the country since the pandemic started is 146,688, of which 52.1% are male who've been infected. Anyway, good thing is there's no new cases on Zakynthos at the moment, according to national figures. There's no new cases in the Ionian at the moment, which is also a good positive. At the moment, we've only had 4 positive cases here of the virus since the beginning of 2021. So that is good, and let's hope it stays like that as well. All right. Now, as for deaths, we've had 25 new deaths. That is down from yesterday where we had 27. The average age of people passing away is 79 years of age, of which 95.5% had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And we've had a total since the pandemic started of 5,354 deaths. All right. The gender of those deaths, 3,161 males, 2,193 females. As for critical cases, I'm afraid critical cases are up, but not by much. We've got 340 critical cases across the country. When I last reported to you, there were 337, so it's up by 3, of which 239 are male, 98 are female. Now, the average age of critical patients is 68, and 85% of them have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. And it's also been reported, this is probably a throwback to the questions from earlier in the week about figures with people in critical healthcare, as to how many people have actually left the healthcare system from ICUs. And it turns out that 1,000 patients have been reported as leaving ICUs. So that is obviously since the pandemic started. So again, that was an interesting figure that just cropped up on yesterday's news. Anyway, also as well cropped up, and I hadn't seen these figures as well for a long time, as to how many tests were being conducted. And I was quite surprised that the Greek health authorities have conducted a total of, get this, 2,921,536 PCR tests since January. Right now, I remember reporting on test numbers before Christmas, and the test numbers was around about the 2 million mark and sort of slowly going up, but not as much as what you would kind of expect. So anyway, if they've done 2 million, well, nearly 3 million tests since the beginning of January, well, that's an impressive amount of people that's been tested. So of course, the more you test, the more you'll find. Also as well, that was just the PCR tests where just under 3 million tests were done. But on the PCR tests, 768,300 tests have been done since January. So that is a lot of testing that's going on. Now, some stop press hot news off the press this morning, going through the media this morning. It seems that the US pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson, who I didn't know until just a few weeks ago when I reported that they were also in the process of creating a vaccine. Well, it seems that Johnson & Johnson is seeking approval now for their vaccine from the European Medical Association or Agency. The company is expected to present their formal application for approval in early February. Although ongoing clinical data has been supplied to the EMA since January the 1st, that's when I first became aware of it, to speed up the final assessment of the vaccine for possible approval. Now, unlike already approved vaccines, the good thing about this Johnson & Johnson vaccine is that it only requires one dose. So therefore, it should make the administration of giving injections a lot easier and a lot quicker. Now, Greece has already ordered 4.7 million doses of this vaccine. So we've got a population here of approximately 10 million people. If you take the children out from that, that's nearly 4.7 million. That could be just under half the population could be injected with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So again, this could mean that vaccinations here on this island may not start until after February because at the moment is there enough vaccine to go around. As you're probably aware, we already had 147 doses arrive on the island just a couple of days ago. Health people have been injected first, and obviously we're waiting for the arrival of more vaccine. And also as well, the system here is that people over the age of 85 are going to be vaccinated first. And it's quite interesting because I was just reading an article this morning in the Daily Mail, Jenny Murray, BBC Radio 4, saying about how a lot of old people in the UK are not going for vaccinations simply because they can't get there. All right. And this is something that hasn't been worked out very clearly by the British government. All very well and good saying we're going to inject the over 85s. However, if you can't get there for the appointment and you've got to try and get a taxi, you can't get on a bus. She's saying that the Army, St John's Ambulance Brigade, or even the pharmacies, and there was talk of pharmacies doing the injection at one point, but that seems to have died down. And also as well, here in Greece at one point, there was talk of the pharmacies actually giving the vaccine as well. And again, we've not heard anything more about that, and that seems to have died down as well. So again, that's quite an interesting little thing that's come out from this morning. Anyway, more information then. Greece has received the first delivery of the Moderna Covid-19 vaccine, and that is 8,000 of those. Now, Greece is expected to receive 240,000 doses of that vaccine in the first quarter of the year, out of an estimated order of 1.8 million doses. So the thing is, we're going to have all these different vaccines, and it's going to be a bit of a potluck as to which one you're going to get wherever you are. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Also as well, regarding the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, that is now being used in Greece. Greece will receive a further 427,050 doses by the end of January, and a further 362,700 by the end of February, and then another 558,675 in March. So again, we'll wait and see how quickly any of the vaccine gets here to be used on the island to vaccinate the general public. All right. And also as well, an additional 1,180,930 doses of the Pfizer vaccine may be added from an additional agreement with the European Commission. So obviously the EU now putting their hand in their pocket and actually going to be giving out vaccine to member states. So again, we'll keep an eye on that one as well, because the ineffectuality of the EU has been called into criticism through this crisis. Anyway, now another little interesting story. This is a local story. The Zakynthos Chamber has published last night in the local press the bailout money amounts to be given to businesses here on the island, and this money is coming from the Greek government. Now, the president of the chamber, Fotis Kotis, revealed the refundable advances will be paid in 4 separate rounds, and in the local paper he's written out how much in each round, but the total amount given in all of the 4 rounds works out at 91,231,675 euros. All right. Now, the total amount of companies that are likely to receive the benefits of this payout is, believe it or not, 7,748 businesses here on the island. Now, the General Secretary of the Economic Policy, Christos Tripopoulos, said in a communication that the competent ministries hope that this will be a solution for the companies, and it will enable them to help financially to get through this period due to the coronavirus pandemic. So again, some money coming to the small businesses. I was actually down in town yesterday. Had to do some stuff for my, I think I explained this maybe to you. No, I didn't explain this to you, but I had to go and do some more work for my biometric passport card, and I had a little look around town. Again, nearly everything closed, and I started looking at the amount of shops at the moment that are now closed and empty, and I think I will at some point do a little census of the amount of shops that are empty. What I have noticed is certain shops have moved as well, so that's a good thing. I know TikTok, the watchmaker, the watch repair place, they've moved their location, so maybe because of shops closing, getting yourself a unit on Alexander Roma Street, those prices may have dropped. So it might be cheaper now for rents and that to be able to do that. But that's a little aside. But again, things are still very much closed here in the way of the retail sector. Anyway, another good story for Zakynthos. Yesterday, the Greek Court of Auditors approved the signing of the contract for the construction project of the integrated waste management of Zakynthos. Now, the contract concerns the new waste management treatment plant and landfill, which is still an ongoing construction at the moment. And after many years, it looks like it's finally reached a case of resolvement. And it's been one of the biggest issues here on the island for many years. The issue regarding the old landfill, which was down by Skopos on the way up to Kalamaki. That is technically inside the National Marine Park, the old landfill, and that was causing lots of issues with the EU, as it was basically described as an ecological ticking time bomb. And Greece was being fined because of that, and also a couple of other locations where there was trouble with landfills. But the island was getting fined by the EU But the problem was Zakynthos was having to pay the fine. It's not like the Greek government was paying it. Zakynthos was paying it. Anyway, there was the ongoing danger, obviously, that the landfill could split through to earth tremors, and it could actually end up polluting the whole of the National Marine Park, which is obviously a place of great significance. Anyway, the waste management program has been signed now. You may remember we reported that the road has been completed to enable vehicles to get up and down to start the construction work. I'd also reported as well that there were 10,000 tonnes of rubbish there that have been stored at the new landfill area. So that is now, looks like that is to be moved, and now construction can now go ahead. And there was also a waste management program also signed for Kefalonia as well, in a similar vein. And the president of FOSTA, of the Ionian agencies, that's a regional office, said, Rodi Krastari, stated that with great satisfaction the page is turning in the Ionian Islands. The work of the municipal authorities and the management associations has been done. Until today, it is utilised with determination and steady steps, and the new Ionian Islands FOSTA leads the waste management to a new era for the benefit and quality of life and the prospects of the island. So basically, we should see less problems with the rubbish, especially in the summer when we have more tourists here, and more tourists means more waste, more pressure on the waste management for water, etc. We should start to see some improvements. So again, that's a positive for the year, and hopefully the work may be done by the time the season starts, but we shall wait and see. I also had more information. You might remember yesterday I reported on a funeral yesterday of a 41-year-old firefighter by the name of Dionis Drusos, who passed away. He was only 41. Anyway, more information has been released about the loss of Diosis. It seems that he had been fighting an incurable disease. The disease is not mentioned for the last 2 years. And unfortunately, Dionis, a firefighter, greatly admired and greatly respected here on the island, passed away, and he left behind a wife and also a baby of only 4 months. And we express our sincere condolences for his loss, and also to the fire section here as well, who do a fantastic job, through the summer months and also around the rest of the year here on the island. Anyway, and finally, I was talking about weather again, wasn't I? And finally, according to meteorologists at Athens Observatory, December 2020, believe it or not, was the warmest in the Greek capital since 1860. Yes, in terms of the average minimum temperature during the night, it was 11.7 degrees Celsius. It was also the second warmest in terms of average temperatures, which was about 13.8 Celsius, behind December 1960. That was the year I was born, by the way. And 14.1% Celsius was the rate in 1960. Interestingly, the average temperature in the central district of Theosis in the first 10 days of January was 14.8 degrees Celsius, and the average maximum was 18.3 Celsius. So there you go. And these temperatures are the highest ever recorded in Athens during the first 10 days of January in the last century and a half. Well, I'm sat here now, bright sunshine, and I'm feeling rather cold at the moment, I've got to be honest. Right, let's have a quick look who's tuning in at the moment. Lovely to see a few faces here. Emma Marku is watching. She says, morning, Ginge. It looks so nice there. It hasn't stopped raining here in Essex. It's so horrible. Oh, bless. Bob Cave, my old mate and Raff Reg buddy, he says, morning, Ginge. I don't know where Bob is. He's in Oxfordshire, around the Oxfordshire area, or around the Thames anyway. Anyway, Al Parks is watching. Nice to see you tuning in, Al. I bet it's raining but sunny in Catterick. There we go. Delia Gussetti is also watching as well. Nice to see you tuning in. I better give you guys little wave backs, haven't I? I haven't been giving you waves backs. There we go. Give you a wave back as well. George from the Obelix restaurant, he's tuning in as well. Lovely to see you looking in as well, George. Linda and Gary also in Essex, they're tuning in. So nice to see you. George, I'm going to give you a wave back. David McCosh, oh, that's a new name. He's tuning in as well. Lovely to see you here, David. Christy, Geraldine Blow is also watching in as well. Ian Wallace is watching as well. James Buchanan is watching as well. Steve Hinkling up there. in Stoke-on-Trent. He says, Gallimera from a very wet and windy UK. Well, it's not wet at the moment. It's just a bit windy and it is a little bit nippy. Jack Harmer is watching as well. Nice to see you. Kevin Williams. Kevin Williams. There's a voice from the past. Used to have fancy dress here in Laguna at one time. Nice to see you here. Looking in, mate. Checking up on everybody. Julie Meldrum is also watching as well. Gaz Eden. Nice to see you there, fella. Ex-Raf Reg buddy. Tim Crystal says, morning, buddy, from a very wet and cold Oxford. Boo, bet it isn't all. And Ian Booth says, it's snowing where he is. I think he's in Huddersfield, around that area. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Just a quick one about yesterday's online broadcast. I had a bit of a nightmare with that yesterday. The glitch reappeared. During the first 47 minutes of the show, was running absolutely lovely, and then all of a sudden, while trying to find Brian Adams, it then glitched and lost the broadcast. Came back again, went back on again, and again I did I did something like over an hour and 20 minutes, but the final broadcast, it's like 1 hour 5 minutes. So the quality is not good. The glitch reappeared, so I'm afraid today I'm going to be working on my laptop trying to get it sorted out, ready for tomorrow. The shows are posted up as they were broadcast yesterday. I do apologise for the quality. I haven't highlighted the shows in any way. I'll just be curious to see how they do, despite the fact that of the technical issues. And the show is in 2 parts, so there's a part 1 and a part 2. The part 2 of the show, to be honest, was so good. A lot of soul, a lot of northern soul, a lot of reggae, and world music as well. Al, I put your little track in that you suggested I play. Linda and Gary, I put those tracks in that you asked me to play. I played those. The reception for those from the comments on Facebook were absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, playing it back, it's a little bit like the Muppets. Points. But anyway, and also Heather Nash is tuning in at the moment. I know she was there going through it, and at one point the buffering just got really bad. Greece, please sort out the internet. Let's get fibre optic here. Let's improve the internet, especially we got Microsoft coming to get data farms set up in Athens. You need to. I had to decline the call because I can't take the call and chat on air. Unfortunately, it don't let me do that on my thingy. But anyway, Heather's now saying it's wet and miserable in Birmingham, and Julie Melbourne says, have a lovely day. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you anyway. I hope. And again, this is Sandy, by the way. Hello, Sandy. I'm going to leave it there. I will see you. You have a good time, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.